since the movie, the game has like tripled, quadrupled. In fact, I'm not sure if you're seeing it in your viewership, if your viewership's gone up or anything. I'm not sure if you've got data on it where you're looking at your viewership and it's just gone up. But I can tell you, like the players are going off the roof because of the movie, and that's why we kind of gave the bod away because we want to try and capture as many new players as we can, so this game can thrive for many more years.
Hmm.
I don't know. Do you see an increase in anything in a minute? I mean, you can say no if
Slightly.
you don't.
Slightly.
Slightly,
I'd say about
okay,
ten
yeah,
percent. Nothing like ridiculous. Like I think
yeah,
when the last Bayformers movie came out, I saw a big increase for
yeah.
about 3 months. But you said you did a big marketing campaign and things like that as
We did,
well.
which was yeah,
Um,
because the movie's happening again, we're starting to do more marketing again. So
mm,
we normally do marketing around the movie.
yeah,
So hopefully, in time, it will be better for you as well.
yeah,
So yeah, we can ask for a review, but that's all. It's kind of like been like that for the past year, so it's never really been an issue. That's why it's kind of been a bit of a shock to well, Harry's not been here. Well, no, Harry was here at the time because it's kind of been like that for a long time, and people haven't
mm.
really said anything. We was quite transparent with it back then as well, saying, well, if you buy Puffer in the shop, you're gonna get 500
I
shares.
think that obviously, like, no offense, when you look at another player, you're like, I don't really care what they get. So everyone's done the event and gone like, yeah, I'm getting what I get. But then when it comes to them, they're like, hang on, why am I not getting whatever? And I think that even I didn't
Yeah,
realize it's 500 shards. I don't honestly, I
yeah, I
can't
don't want.
remember. But
I really don't want people thinking that we don't really care about old players anymore.
no, I
Um,
don't think that. I think they just think
yeah, I don't.
Tyro's a bit tight. I think that's a common
Well, I don't.
perception. I think.
Well, I don't want people to think, well, you're giving all these, new players all these things and stuff. I mean, we've kind of given them. I mean, when they start the game, they can buy, I think, a 5-star bot for $19, which is not a
Yeah,
lot. But then we think, well, what have older players had over the 5 years? Well, we've kind of give a bot away every year,
yeah,
in a
I'm
way,
I'm all for it.
and we're giving away
It's only one. If you were
non
saying like,
4-star.
go and pick your bot for $25 each, I'd be like, whoa, hang on a
No,
minute.
yeah, yeah, but it's like a random
Yeah,
bot. I think
yeah,
it's only
exactly.
like
It's all the legacies
it's
as
a
well, so it's like,
it's all the legacies. It's very old.
yeah,
The idea is we really. I know there's going to be a lot of old players going, "What about me?"
yeah,
And I'll tell them now. I will say this: if we don't think about new players and
yeah,
we have this attitude of "What about me?" then sure we can if people really don't like it, we can stop doing the campaign. We can stop selling a random legacy bot to them. We can just pull away everything we're doing for new players if old players feel like this. But when the players do start to dwindle and they are
yeah.
struggling to find alliances and
And they
you
were
know,
complaining about that as well.
and now that and they'll start to complain they've got no one to play with, and then we'll probably have to do some more crazy things to keep the game running. Then you kind of ask for this, right? Because you don't want us to push for new players. You don't want us to give new players, like, we want this game. The ambition is we want this game to keep going for the next 5 to 10 years, and to do that, sadly, we have to give newer players like a bit of a push. We need to
Yeah.
not like throw them in the deep end. We're
No,
giving them
I'm
HQ
kind of
15.
like, let's get everyone up to Cybertron level, give them the opportunity to spend a little and get to Cybertron level as fast as possible, and then it's like, right now
It's
put the
up to
work
it's
in,
up to
now
you.
put the
Yeah,
work in to get to our
you've
level
got
now.
yeah, but well,
You're
this
getting
is
close to
the
our level. You don't want to get someone, make someone a top player
no,
overnight, but you want to go,
no,
listen, let's
we
get
don't.
up to that level where it's within reaching distance. I'm a big fan of the carrot. Let's get them close to the carrot, and then go,
Well,
right, now you got to go and try and reach it now.
yeah, we want to give them a push, but we don't want to make it too easy because we don't want to devalue everybody's hard work who are at that top level.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, any new player that's coming into the game, we want them to have a good platform to be like, right, I can start to learn the game. I can play war. I can join a low family. I can start to go into their low ranks, and I've got a little bit of a team. Um, and yeah, I just don't want old players to just like. I don't want to call them selfish because they're not. They're really not. But I just don't want them to
Yeah.
think I
But
want you to be more about me. We need to be more about everyone, but we really do need to be more about lower players as well, because those are the people who are going to try and like they're the new fresh blood that are going to try and keep pushing the game to stay alive. And yeah, the ambition is we want the game to be in the next 5 10 years.
but this is where I go back to like, the legacy parts and the endurance parts being
Yeah,
of a good standard because you want new players because how are they going to get a good war team? by going chasing
Yeah.
every single batch. It's not realistic. So
No,
ideally, they
it's
should be able
tough.
to do all the endurance legacies this year, and from that, have a war team. So you should probably do a couple of warriors, a couple of gunners, a couple of air class bots, a healer. You should be able to do the events this year and get a war team from that and go, right, at least I can go and compete now by doing this year and spending on all the events. You got a legacy, endurance. It's going to add up over the year. This, a good, thousand or
Yeah.
so dollars, over the
I
year
think it's
to level them as
it's all
well. And give them that opportunity to go and do that. But if these new bots are not that's a standard, they got to go and chase every single batch going.
it's
But
also very hard to just get a bot right. Like it really is hard to get a bot right. Like I can talk from this from experience now because I've done legacy. It's hard to just release a bot and it just be a war bot. Like it's hard. Like even if you have the right design, what could be a war bot, it might not be.
I don't think it is though. I think a prime
It
example is
really
this recent bot. It's very much like Rook, but not an improvement on Rook, and it should be. It should automatically be better than Rook. No, no, there's no questioning that. There's no like, oh, maybe you should or shouldn't. It needs to be because why bother then?
Well, this is it, right? If we had the model of a flexibility system where we say, okay, in the first, if we literally made a guarantee, and we would never ever agree to this because the players wouldn't like it, but for me, again, on the experience that I've done for Legacy, as a designer, I would love it if I could release content and I go, okay, in the next 4 weeks, I'm either going to nerf it or I'm going to buff it, and there's my window.
Yeah, yeah.
I would love the flexibility because then I would love to just release content and go, right, I'm going to push it a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I want to see it in a live environment. I want it to, because in playtest you don't see it in a high war, and people say, well, you should be doing wars and stuff on it. No, it's too small data subset. The data's too small to see. Like I'm going to judge this bot in what 8 wars? No, I can't do that. I need to see you playing them clutch battles with Horde in that top area and just seeing from that small subset of people just playing in a real environment. I want to see how it performs in a middle environment, in a low environment, in Prime League hard mode, and Cybertron hard mode. I want to see it. And we just don't have that flexibility. It's almost like we're not guessing in a way. We're almost just trying to be maybe cautious in a way where we're not breaking the game and it's not devaluing all content in the game. But if we had that flexibility window, would be great because we could just say, oh,
Well,
let's just keep it like
okay. Well, I would.
let's just keep it like this, and then if it needs a buff, we'll buff it, and if it needs a nerf, we'll nerf it. But there's our
Let me
window.
counter that. What was the last bot that broke the game?
Beachcomber.
Not broken the game, has it?
Well,
Very difficult. Not broken the game.
He's not broken the game, but he's a very strong bot. But yeah, I think that again, we're acting because we're quite cautious, and I feel like if we had that window where we could buff and nerf,
Yeah, but it's all about supply and demand. You've created demand all of a sudden. You brought out the supply of Beachcomber. Now you've created demand for something to counter that, and so you're creating revenue for yourself by creating bots like this.
Well, for example, this new bot that we've just released. Yes, you've got the opinion that it could have a bit more, but if we had that flexibility where we could just buff it.
But you have right now.
Then we could.
A week ago.
Yeah, but we didn't see it in live, did we?
Like when everyone in a playtest is saying this things are better. I always say, if you go into playtest and everyone is of the opinion going, this is great, then you're there or thereabouts. It might be slightly too good, but you're there or thereabouts. If you've got everyone in playtest or even half playtest going, this is not good enough, you've not hit it.
The thing is, you never really know, because I watched your stream on Nosecone and you said, this legacy rework won't do anything, and then you check the tournament and you're like, Jesus, what's going on here? And you say to me that Drift is not a war bot, but in the tournament as well, was some strategy there where people were using, they were quite cheesy with it. So, we sometimes think we know something will be really good, or we might think something's really bad, but the essence is we don't really know until people play with it on live, because there's so much what could happen. Because there's so many people who go, actually, I see a use here, and then, straight away, everyone's like, actually, I want to do it this way too, and then they start to play that way, and then there you go, you've got a broken bot because people have found a use of it. So I would like that flexibility where I could go, actually, I'm going to buff it or I'm going to nerf it, because then I think we'd get it. because then I think we would get it right every time. Because then we would see it by data, it's doing well or it's doing bad, and people would hate it because they go, well, and it's hard for this kind of game because people kind of put up money if they're going to run or something. Um, they put money on the line, they use a lot of investment, so it really makes that flexibility very difficult. But I would love it if we could do something like that, where we could just say, look, we've released it.
Balance
We
changes.
we know what the playtesters are saying, but we're still going to release it. We want to see how it performs, and if we can buff it, let's buff it. If we're going to nerf it, let's nerf it. I think I would love it if we could do more of that, because it's not just about nerfing content. It really isn't. It's really not about always nerfing content. We don't, honestly, people say you nerf things all the time. I would honestly counter argument and say we don't. We really don't nerf content all the time. There's quite a lot of content. Maybe, I mean, we're very transparent as well. People are always like, you're always lying to us. If we were lying to you, if we ever made a change of beach code, we just wouldn't put it in the newsletter. If it's ever going to change Ruination, we just wouldn't put put it in the newsletter, right? Like it would just save us a headache. If we was ever going to change anything, just don't put it in the newsletter.
Yeah,
but we do. Everything we change, it goes into the newsletter because there's no point lying to you. We want to be transparent. So yeah, I'd love a window where we can say, yeah, this sucks, let's just up the values. But by that point, people go, well, if you'd have done this when we released it, I would have run. And then if you nerf it because it's too strong, people would go, well, if you'd have did this on the event, I wouldn't have run at all.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard. And this is why I don't envy the designers. People don't realize how hard their job is. You can't just drop a bot into the game and it be perfect. It's just not possible. It's really just not possible.